Good evening, everybody. How are y'all tonight? Bill with Bees all day here in the Shenandoah Valley, Virginia. Hope everybody had a good weekend. And the channel is pinned to the top of the chat. Hey, Bob, how are you tonight? Sandra, Jonathan, Kimberly, how are you tonight? Jeremy, Dustin from Wisconsin, and Mr. Klingman. How are you? How is everybody tonight? Glad to see everybody starting to come in. And I figured tonight to start with, we would wear a shirt with your initials on it. Okay. Thought we would continue the talk from the conversation from Friday night about pH of bee food and the pro sweet and the sugar syrup and how to handle it and everything. So we'll let a few more people get in here and then we'll get started, if that's all right with y'all. So, well, Mr. Unlikely Beekeeper, I'm glad I wore a shirt with your initials on it. But if you think about it, that's the initials of the store. So how's everybody's weather? We broke the 30. We broke into the 30s last night. So it's getting chilly here. We're supposed to be down there again tonight. Beautiful day today. A little bit of breeze. Wasn't too warm, but it was a very good evening. And had a really nice weekend this weekend. It wasn't too hot. Hey, Brent, how are you tonight? So kind of looking forward to the rest of the week. It's supposed to be in the 70s. Then it's supposed to warm up next weekend, but it's going to cool off. It's coming. There's no way we can stop it. It's coming. So if you want to come on in. And newbie question. Okay. Let's see. Since it's cold now, yes, they should go on October 1st as a rule of thumb. But since it's cooler now, yes, I would put them in to keep the mice out of the hive. You don't want to get a mouse in your hive. So, not sure where you're from, Sandra, but if you're getting cold there, it's cold here. I'm assuming you're somewhere in the Virginia area, West Virginia, North Carolina area. Hey, Mike. Now, Mike's up there where it's getting really cold. Okay, you're in Strasburg. I'm in Woodstock, so we're close. What was temperature last night, Mike? Up in Vermont. So we were in bees over the weekend. We fed everybody, and everybody's doing great. Actually got some pretty strong hives going into this winter. So we were colder last night than you were last night, Mike. So how's everybody else's bees doing? I saw Bill Lee in here somewhere. How you doing, Bill? And then I think I saw Keith. Maybe. I don't know if I saw Keith or not. Dustin, where are you at? Where are you located? So, yep. 40 tonight. Central Wisconsin. Yep. Still hot down there, huh? Okay. Well, I can tell you the temperatures for the rest of this week here are going to be nice. We got the high this week is probably 78, and the rest of it is going to be good. We got a high Saturday of 80 coming, Saturday and Sunday, and then it's going to be in the 70s next week too. I mean, we got some good weather coming, some good beekeeping weather coming. So if you live in Virginia, it's about the same weather all over the state. And Maryland, Eastern West Virginia. So it's a good time to get those fall treatments on there. If you finished your summer treatment yet, so get your fall treatments on and get ready for winter because it's coming. Hey, Chad, what's the weather down there where you are? Low 70s in Vermont all this week. That's good. That's real good. So, hey, Chad, didn't you guys down there in Carolina? Oh, you're in PA. Never mind. I thought you were in Carolina because I was going to say, I thought I read somewhere that Carolina was having a regional conference or something here recently or going to have it. Okay. When is the West Virginia meeting? This weekend. Where is it going to be at this year, Bob? Mike still has flow. Goldenrod, I haven't seen much of it. We don't have a lot of it here in this part of the valley. Some part of the valley it covers it. So the West Virginia conference in Lewisburg, West Virginia, this weekend. If anybody's interested in going, I'm sure they'll let you in at the door. So Bob's going to be there. So Danny, what you're at on? You're in Eastern North Carolina. Are you out on the shore, or are you in on North Carolina proper? Yeah. You got any more information on the West Virginia conference, Bob? Who's talking or who's going to be there? Want to come in here and tell everybody about it? Walker Brothers Ranch. Yep. And you go pick up your live streams again? And if you are, when are you going to do it? So we can let everybody know. Let me look at, hey, Tar Heel, how are you? West of Woodstock. Okay. Like I said, I haven't seen any up here, Rocky Acres. Um, it's not a lot of it around here. I'm just wondering if it's what they spray for burn downs in the spring is the reason we don't have a lot of it here. So are you? What night are you thinking about, Bob? Dodd House, how are you tonight? 5 miles from the ocean. Hey, Brian, how are you tonight? Oh, you could always do Wednesday night, Bob. I don't think Tom's on Wednesday night. I think Nancy does Tuesday nights. Hey, James, how are you tonight? Yeah, you could go head to head with them. Why not? Might be a good experience. Might be a real good experience. I don't know where my sidekick's at tonight, unless he bailed hay today. It's hard to tell. He might be asleep. Let me text him and see where he's at. Hey, Pete, how are you? There's Kathy. Where's JT at? Okay. Thanks, Bob. Anybody else want to come in and talk about their bees or what's going on? We can get this discussion started tonight. Get it going. Brian, how are you tonight? Are you still in Florida or are you back home yet? So the discussion we were having Friday night was in reference to pH levels in sugar syrup, pro sweet, and high fructose corn syrup. And should we add anything to it to bring the pH down? What is the ideal pH to feed bees if you're feeding liquid food? Did a little research. Natural honey has a pH of 3.5 to 4.5. And in that range, it makes things more natural for the bees to digest. When you acidify the syrup, in other words, if you add citric acid or something that's acidic to bring the pH down, it also helps slow the fermentation of the syrup. And the bee gut is slightly acidic anyway, and it's that acidic environment helps support the microbes in the bee's gut and discourages the harmful pathogens that can get in there. There's my buddy.
Hey.
Is the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah,
right. So we were started a discussion, continuation of it from last night.
Oh, what's that?
Or from Friday night about the pH levels of syrup Pro Sweet and high fructose corn syrup. Sandra's got asking a good question. What type of sugar water administering device to put in my hives? I have mason jars now, but want something that lasts longer. First year beekeeper. You could use in-frame feeders. You could use hive top feeders. There are people that love the hive top feeders. There's people that put an extra box on their top of their hive and set their quart jars right down on top of the frames. Or if you really feel good about it, you can put a migratory cover on, drill a hole in it, and set a bucket on it. There's a bunch of different ways to feed bees. So when you make your sugar syrup, you want your sugar syrup to be slightly acidic. You want it between, if you can get it, you want to try to get it between 4 and 4.5 on your pH. Now, you're going to have to invest in some way to test pH. You could go to a pool supply store and get pH test strips there.
Well, I need prescription. That's a must.
Yeah. Now, Brent, your statement is true about the 1-to-1, but you also have to consider sucrose, especially if it's inverted sugar syrup, which the only way to invert sugar syrup without heating it is to add some acidity to it through citric acid. But you want to try to get it, that ideal pH for sugar syrup is 4 to 4.5. So, and if you mix up 1 gallon of sugar syrup, 1-to-1 or 2-to-1, you want to add 1/8 of a teaspoon, about 0.6 grams of citric acid powder to it and mix it up really well. And if you have the pH strips, you want to test it. So if it's still above 5, add about 0.1 grams and test again and try to get it down into that range. So it's, once you add the initial 0.6, it's 0.1 after that. They say a pinch. So, you want to try to get it down that way as well and get it down to where it's more digestible for the bees, because at that point your sugar started to invert. All right. So sugar syrup, usually without acidity, is 6 to 7, which is neutral to slightly acidic. And it's a tiny adjustment from there, enough to match the bee's acidity. Honey acidity is 3.5 to 4.5. Going below 3.5 on your acidity, it will stress the bees. Yes, Brent, it's gut health, and it also makes it easier for them to digest. And it's better for them if you can do that. Hey, Rodney. Hello, Judith. So when you do this, make sure you're measuring pretty accurately if you can. You don't want to get too acidic. So if you store your syrup for more than a week, when you acidify it, it helps prevent that fermentation of that sugar syrup. Always want to use food grade citric acid. It's cheap. It's sold at canning supply stores, or you can order it off Amazon. Now, we talked about high fructose. Hey, Keith, how are you? We talked about high fructose corn syrup. All right. High fructose corn syrup is more acidic already than sugar syrup. It's fallen in the range of 3.5 to 4.5. It's close to the same range as honey. You do not need to add any acidity to it. Why? Because when you add acidity to it, it starts forming HMF during the storage or heating of it, and it's toxic to the bees. And HMF is, I'm going to put this in the chat so everybody can see what it is.
Did we figure out feeding devices for Sandra?
Yep. So high fructose corn syrup at 55%. Yep. Mealy, that works as well. You don't add any citric acid to high fructose corn syrup, okay, at all, because it's good. Good the way it is, the way it comes out of the bucket, the tote, the barrel, and or the tanker. It's good the way it comes out. So the only thing you need to add acidity to is sugar syrup. All right. ProSweet. ProSweet is a 50-50 mixture of high fructose corn syrup and sucrose. The sucrose in ProSweet is already inverted. So you don't have to add anything to that either. That's already in that pH range as well. Here's the catch with ProSweet. If it's not 77% solids, you may have to put a little bit of citric acid in it to get it down to that pH level. So the solids come from the corn syrup. So, and when you mix the sucrose in with the corn syrup, it drops the solids percentage. So you have to put a little bit more corn syrup in it. And that'll bring the pH down to where it needs to be. So there's two ways to invert sugar. You can invert it with either acid inversion, which is citric acid, or you can do an enzymatic inversion, which is invertase. And it'll drop it down to about 4.5 to 5. So over time, in storage and heating, over time, inverted syrup drifts more acidic. So you create, and then that, if you heat it and low pH, you still risk the HMF formation. Okay. So be careful. Always, if you can pH test before you feed, you're better off pH testing, especially if it's ProSweet or high fructose corn syrup. You need to check, and it's set all winter. You need to test that pH before you feed it. if you compare sugar to the other inverted sugar, which is glucose fructose mix, which gives you sucrose, or high fructose corn syrup or pro sweet. The pro sweet or HFCS is the highest or closest you'll get to honey. That comes in at 3.5 to 4.5, which you remember to test that pH. So you don't want too much acid. And I have a chart on here that I pulled offline today. If anybody wants this research for themselves, you can email me and I will send you a copy of it. So that's what I found today and this weekend doing some research about pH levels in liquid feed. So if anybody's got any questions, feel free. Charlie, I know you've got some probably.
What's that?
But pH levels?
I just mix up the sugar water and put the rocket fuel in there and put it in the hive, and that's it. And as far as Sandra there, as far as different options, kind of depends on how many hives you got.
Yeah.
I always started out with a top hive feeder. They do seem to have a drowning problem somewhat. The in-frame feeders, you still kind of have to open the hive up to feed them. And then the bees are kind of coming up at you. And that's why I always kind of like the top hive feeders where you take the inner cover off, put your feeder on, and then you put your telly cover back on, put the liquid in there, and the bees don't, pretty much 99% of them are all inside the hive and they stay inside the hive. And you don't have to deal with them. And then something that I took from Michael Palmer, he was in an interview, and he was talking about a lot of folks will go out here and they'll get a quart jar. I mean, I'm using quart jars right now on a few select hives that need a little bit of a boost where they don't have quite a whole lot of food in there. And that's pretty much getting, I think I filled them up a little bit, I think Saturday, some of them. And after that, I'm going to not fill them up anymore because I'll be feeding probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And about 3 weeks, I guess. So what I was getting at is Michael was saying, if you put a quart jar on there, you're, what would you call it, regulating the amount of fluid the bees can be able to take. So you have, let's say, 300 bees being able to draw that out of the quart jar. And you're going to have to fill that quart jar up, depending on the hive, but I'll say every second or third day, at least by the third day for sure. And you are regulating it, as he was saying it, it's coming into the hive at a slow rate. So they're going to use it to feed themselves, to feed the larvae, and not do too much storing with it. And he said, if you put a top hive feeder on or an in-frame feeder, something where I'll say 3,000 bees can go in there and suck the liquid out. And it's basically you're flipping a switch in their brain is what he was saying, where it comes in so much like a waterfall. They're saying to themselves, we can't eat all this and we don't need to feed all this. So we better store it and cap it. And you kind of, what would you say, manipulate the bees that way. So that was one of the things I took from Michael Palmer years ago. And so I like, at that point in time, when I'm feeding, the bees are about not the nicest because they're it's winter time or getting close to winter. Their attitude is very defensive because of the time of year. And that's where I like the top high feeder. And you can go look at some of my videos where I got a 40-gallon tank that goes in the back of my truck with a pump. And I drive right down that row behind me there with the top high feeders on. And I just keep pumping 2 gallons off and every one of them free. I can put 4 gallons in each one of them if I want to. Since I've downsized a little bit, 40 gallons used to be 40 gallons. I had to limit myself per hive in order to get 40 gallons to hit every hive. Now, I might have a few gallons left over and that kind of thing. Let's see. Mealy's got before frost and just want to feed them so they combs are drawn and filled if possible. Drawing comb right now is, I'd say, it's kind of difficult. I mean, I'm not sure where you live at. Maybe you could get them to draw some comb, but filling them, yes, that's when I could say within a couple of weeks I'm going to hit them with 2-to-1 or almost 2-to-1, and I'll put 2 gallons in that feeder, maybe 4 gallons, maybe 3 to 4 gallons. And the first feeding, I can guarantee you, I can go back. If I feed them that evening, I'll come back the next morning and they've got every bit of that dry. It's gone. And all that. So I feed probably somewhere or 200 gallons worth of feed and all that. So that's something you can take consideration as far as what type of feeder you want. And then when I get done, that's when my thing is I let them suck it dry, and I really do a lot of leapfrogging where one hive is sucking it down. The other hive has still got 3 inches of syrup in there, and they're not touching it. That tells me they're full. So I take that syrup from that hive, or that feeder from that hive, pour that syrup in the other hive, and take that feeder off, and then close that hive back up. So you don't have to deal with them so much. And all that. She's got 3 hives. Well, Sandra, the top high feeder is just, it's like a medium box. You just put that on there for a couple weeks at the most, and then once they're fed, then you take that off and then close them back up with an inner cover and a telly cover. The problem with a frame feeder is that you have to remove a frame, and sometimes 2 frames if it's a big one. So then they lose space. And most people that do have frame feeders, they leave them in there from what I've seen on the internet. I know Will there, I think, has got some frame feeders. He's got a little bit of everything. Styles.
Yeah, I don't have any frame feeders in right now, but I was looking at putting them in that last round of bees I got, just in case they're traveling at all. I got a feeder that's inside. I really don't like them though because they drown bees.
Well, I think that there's a tendency to drown bees in any feeder.
Yep.
And Sandra, she says she likes the top high feeder. The one I like is I have the ones I have are Man Lake's ones that you've got the wooden frame around it. There's a bunch of different ones out there, but some of them are more expensive than others. So you have to look around, kind of get an idea for it.
Yep.
Yeah, again, it's what works for you because.
Yep.
But High Stone River and Kimberly and all you guys. So, Bill, I'm curious that wooden top feeder that you have. I have a couple of them on right now. I'm going to be curious. The Man Lake ones, Charlie, like we're talking about, you end up with a bunch of drowned bees, and then you got to take that screen off. And the frame feeders, you end up drowning them. And I don't know. It ends up being a lot of a mess. I'm
Well,
curious how
yeah,
the carpet thing works out when I try that.
you know, DC just made a statement that most of the bees that drown, in his opinion, are the older bees. But if you think about it, when you do a treatment like Format Pro or Apiguard or something like that, a stronger treatment, the bees that you find in front of the hive, they were the older bees that were going to die anyway.
Now, some things like my top hive feeders, you have full of yellow jackets, which I don't care about that.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
okay. As long as they
Yeah.
don't make the syrup ferment.
Exactly.
Well, I'm pretty much out there on a daily basis when I'm feeding. Especially when you first start. I'm out there probably twice a day because they'll suck it down that fast.
Yeah.
I know you guys talk about fermentation, and I'm like, and I look at it, I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, I don't store sugar water. I make it, I put it in my tank, and I feed it. And within 6 to 8 hours, it's gone by the bees.
I was over over the weekend. I was over at a buddy of mine's place, another beekeeper, big beekeeper, and he had a bunch of those little quail feeders, the plastic with a red base on them, and he was mixing up. I think he was taking some old Pro Sweet that he had, and he was cutting about in half with water, and I stopped over there to pick some stuff up, and he wasn't there. He's like, "Hey, walk around back and see where those feeders are at." He said, "I filled them up this morning. Well, there's probably half a dozen of them back there, and I don't know, 2 or 3 of them were empty." And he filled them up that morning, and then like a community feeder type thing is what he was doing. He just had them setting out, and 2 or 3 of them were empty, and none of them had more than about a third left in them of the rest of them. I mean, they were just polluted with bees, and they were sucking them down. So I was in my bees Friday. I think we might have talked about that, but I was in my bees Friday, and I was happy to see that they were starting to bring some nectar in finally, because it just seemed like, there was a heck of a dearth in my area through the month of August, and the bees were just in kind of going backwards a little bit. So I was glad to see a bunch of fresh nectar and burr comb in them, over the weekend. So
Yeah. Yep.
You're talking about community feeder. All you got to do is take a 5-gallon bucket.
I got one out right now, but they're not hitting it. And I put a bunch of wood in it to float, and I put some syrup in it, but they're not.
Yeah, but I'm talking about one that how is it? It's got to have the ones with the rib around the top with a little.
Oh, to put them upside down like that or whatever.
You turn them upside down and drill holes in it, and they'll come to it and eat.
Yep.
But make sure that you drill the hole
in the right spot.
In the right spot, where if it's upside down, you want up towards the top, but not quite at the top. So fluid goes to that hole and stops, without overflowing.
Yeah, we take the 5-gallon bucket, turn it upside down, that rim with the little thing. We don't drill near the handle on either side, and it gives us like 3 or 4 holes around it on each side.
Jeremy, I do a lot of that. I have a bunch of hives that have jars on them with a spare deep around them, and I have a similar setup to what you're talking about there. And I usually use those 5-pound honey jars in them. So it works good on some of them, but they sucker down pretty quick. That's why I'm anxious to try once I wrap up. I just put another round of Apiguard on my new bees that I got. And then that colony that tested, so high with the mites when the inspector was here, I put another 50 grams on them Sunday. So, but once I get some of that squared away, I'm going to start throwing some buckets on some of these. Give it a try.
I like what Jeremy's talking about there. I mean, that's great if you got 4 or 5 hives.
Oh, yeah.
When you got like what Will's got, and I got 25, you want something that's Well, for me, it's my, what would you say? My timeline was this. I started out with those 2 to 4 hives, and then I'd work for 4 hours cooking sugar water or heating hot water and mixing sugar water on the stove in the kitchen. Then I'd take and I'd pour it into 5-gallon buckets.
Yep.
And then I'd work all night to try to get 6 5-gallon buckets done. Because now when you're putting a feeder on that main lake feeder, it'll take pretty much 4 gallons if you fill them up. So I mean, if you're gonna have 4 hives, boom, you got 4 buckets going in 5 minutes.
Yep.
And then you got to lift that bucket. That bucket ain't light.
That bucket's heavy.
You know, now when you get a little older, it starts pulling on your shoulders and stuff like that.
Yeah, tell me about it.
And so then when you get up to around 10 hives, somewhere but about 6 to 10 hives, the days of cooking sugar water on the kitchen is over with. You can't keep up. And that's why I made up I still like I still like heating the water and melting the sugar. There's a lot of folks out there where they just mix it with a trash pump or whatever and try to put hot water in there. And and it works, but I do see a lot of sugar settling out of that. So I took a 55-gallon honey drum, and I made where I can heat it, I can agitate it, and all that stuff. And anything I can do when even with it even comes down to farming and working, and I go for anything. If there's something out there that's going to make my life a lot easier, work a lot easier, I'm getting it.
Yep.
And a lot of, I think it was $10. I went over to Home Depot in the gardening section where the plants are. They got a little water meter over there. I haven't even changed the battery yet since I've had it. Hook it on the end of your water hose. It will meter. It'll tell you how many gallons of water you're putting in that 55-gallon drum, and it's very accurate. I put my 20 gallons in there. I did the math. I put 250 pounds of sugar in there, and I got a heater. A guy gave me a crab pot heater, gas heater, and I had at the time the fellow was a welder guy, and he cut the legs off of it, made it low profile. Another guy happened to give me a cart. He's passed away also now, and I C-clamped that heater to it, and the guy put little steel bars on the corners like they do on ships. So when you put the 55-gallon drum on, even though it's moving around, it can't slide off. And so I heat it up, and then I pour my sugar water in there. I do have a forklift, which makes it even easier. I let it cool down till the next day. I get my 55 or 40-gallon tank in my truck, and then I gravity feed it over to the truck. And then I just drive on out there, and I've got it so I can hook it in the trailer outlet. It's the little four prong outlet for the little cheap trailers, and it gives me my electricity for my pump, and the way I go. I've got it the pump's got a pressure switch on it, so when I close the valve, it shuts the pump off, and down the line I go. And then, the days of me lifting buckets up, even half filled with sugar water, are over with. So that's, when you get up to, like I say, 6 to 10 hives, that's when those things have to come in, because you can't keep up.
Yeah, you've got to start making, when you get above 6 to 10 hives, you got to make your life easy. You can't
you got to be, you have to start looking at the commercial guy and the sideliner guy, and what's he doing to make his more efficient,
Yep.
I can't wait till my little pH test kit comes and I can start testing some of the pH in some of my syrup.
We were talking about that earlier tonight, Will.
Were you?
Yep. So if you want this chart that I got, I'll email you the research and the chart.
Oh, okay. Last I looked, from what I was hearing, I was going to look for 5. Try to get it to 5.
Nope. The ideal pH for sugar syrup is 4 to 4.5.
Okay. Then I'll dial
anything
in
below 3.5, it creates a chemical that's toxic to the bees.
Well, like I say, I'll be curious just to test my water, and then test what I have 2 batches of syrup put together right now. I'll be curious to test both of them and see where they're at.
So speaking of pumps, no, I don't make this popcorn, Mealy. This is kettle corn that my wife bought me as a snack because she got tired of popping popcorn, and so did I. But typically, if I make popcorn, it's made here at the house from kernels. So good try, Mealy. Yes, and I'm shoving it in. You're right. I am shoving it in tonight because that's part of my supper. So speaking of pumps, we ordered a pump from a large equipment manufacturer, and we had never gotten, this was over a week ago when we ordered it. We had never gotten a ship notification from them. So the wife went on their website this morning, and it listed only available on back order. So she called them and told them that, hey, I ordered this over a week ago, and that wasn't up there when I ordered it, because if it had been, I wouldn't have ordered yours. I would have ordered someone else's. And she was told, well, it's up there now, so if you want it, it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks before we can get it.
Ouch.
Yeah. So when I see this dealer at Nobby this year, I'm going to have a conversation with him. Because last year, if you remember who was right beside me last year, that's who I ordered it from. I'm not going to say the name. But I did order a licensed honey pump from Better Bee, and we did call them to make sure that it was in stock, and I'm going to have it Friday.
Wow.
Is that a regular gear pump?
Yep. The other one was a gear pump too.
Yeah, they ain't cheap.
No, they're not. So I ordered the licensed honey pump this morning.
Somebody talked about them, and they said, well, all that is a such and such a brass pump. But I don't know whether it's because of the motor and the gearing ratios or just what it is. It goes wide.
It's the gearing ratio on it that makes it turns slower than one of these pumps that you get from Hilco or somebody like that that's got those plastic impellers in it.
No, I'm talking about there's the brass ones, and I've seen them like in I'll say plumbing supply places.
Yep.
And one guy said, well, this is the same thing, as let's say that $1,000 pump from Max Ant, let's say. But along with, when you do get that, you got a motor, but you also have a larger size pulley and a smaller pulley. I don't know whether that, I know that makes that pump turn at a certain rate.
Yep.
Where I don't know whether that is, a major importance towards the honey or whatever you're trying to pump.
Well, they figure it in gallons per hour is how they figure it. on that gearing. So
you're gonna pump honey
oh yeah, I have to.
up to your bollard.
Yeah, I have to. My old back's getting tired of lifting.
Absolutely.
5 gallons at a time, huh?
Yep, 5 gallons at a time. I'm tired of lifting.
Yeah, but no, you don't want to do that. You want to
No.
pump. You need to pump it, and then do you need to heat it to
Yep.
get to move it? You doing a blanket or what, or a potato masher?
I'm going to do a blanket, heat it while it's there, and then pump it into a heated bottling tank.
Mm-hmm. That's the way to go.
Yep. So
What size tank you got? Or going to get, or do you have one?
I'm looking for about an 800 pound tank, heated tank. I can get one made fairly cheap. It's just going to take me a while to get it. So
Well, you're only using one tank, I presume.
yeah, that's all I'll need to use is one tank. Because the line has a 20 gallon tank on it to start with that the pistons pull out of.
Oh, you mean the tank on the piston feeder,
On the bottling line.
bottling thing.
Yeah. Because that it's got 4 pistons on it and 4 filler heads.
Oh, you're talking about that new system that you were looking
Yeah.
at?
Yep.
And it'll pump it. They did say it's for honey, right?
Yeah, I got the line they have videos posted of their line bottling honey.
I mean, a lot of them. That was one thing that Lloyd up here had, that piston pump, that single, one bottle at a time.
Yep.
And he had to go through several different places and like, oh no, we can't pump that kind of viscosity.
Yep.
So you want a heated bottling tank.
Yep. They're out there. I know who's got them, but I'm not going to order from them because they screwed me on the pump.
Let's see.
Scoop it in.
Huh?
Use an ice cream.
DC's got crystallized honey in the bottom of his capping tank. How big is your capping tank, DC? Oh man, like down at the bottom. Doesn't that have a water jacket on it? DC? I thought their bottling tanks or their uncapping tanks had a no. I don't know, buddy. Scoop it out with a spoon, I guess.
What kind of bottling tank? Whose is it?
Man, like, is it the plastic one or the stainless steel one? Gray plastic one. It's like a Hive Butler.
Well, there's what, 12 pounds to a gallon of honey?
Yep. So DC, is it big enough to fit in like in your kitchen sink or something? Will it fit in your kitchen sink or take a wash tub and heat the water up?
Yeah, because you're going to have to put it in a canner.
Yep.
It's what I did with my 5-gallon buckets. I put it in a canner with a Dad made a wooden lattice that would fit down in the bottom so the water would get underneath of it.
Yep.
So you're looking for how many gallon tank you looking for?
800.
The biggest Max Ant's got's 320. That's a lot of money.
I can get one made cheaper than that. Heated one.
Now, Lloyd had I think he's got water jacketed tanks, and I'll say they hold a barrel of honey. But then he has a water heater off to the side.
Yeah, he runs constant flow of water through them.
He's running hot water through that one unit. He's got them, valved. He's got them kind of like Bob Binney, or he's got them valved where he can heat that tank, or maybe 2 tanks or whatever. Then he runs a line over from his piston pump or piston bottle filler.
Hey, Todd.
Hey, Todd. Yeah. Is he going to keep his tanks, or what is he going to do?
Oh yeah, he's still into that. He's still back. He's still packing.
Yeah.
He's just, he's done with Man Lake because Man Lake's done, and that kind of stuff. He's done getting packages.
Have you guys ever looked at, or has anybody ever looked at maybe getting a small sea container? I'm looking to put my honey supers in.
You going to buy it or you going to rent it?
Oh, I'm going to buy one, I think. Or that's what I'm looking at, is to buy one, maybe a 20-footer.
Yeah, you can probably buy it for about $2,500.
Yep. I think I get a nice one for that. And I'm thinking I'm going to do the old Paramoth thing and put it on cardboard and put it every couple 3 or 4 supers. And I'm thinking putting them inside a sea container like that. I can drop them in there with a skid steer and then have a pallet jack and just roll them up and, store them in there. And I think that'll even, they're not I'm not going to delusionally tell myself that they're airtight, but I think that'll help keep the Paramoth in a little bit. You know what I mean? Or as well.
Yeah. Well, the one I got out here, if you look on those ribs on the side, there's some holes up there for ventilation.
Yep. Okay. Well, you almost have to have something, or the things will sweat like a beehive, right? They'll sweat on the inside.
Well, I'm not sure. I'd have to look at it closer again, but I thought I've seen sort of some type of ventilation screen somewhere.
I've heard them about having some ports in them, where they can breathe a little bit. But no, I'm just looking at. I've been hauling them down into the basement and stacking them and putting them on furniture dollies down there, and it's just getting to the point of being a little ridiculous. If you can handle them, again, the efficiency of, I can drop them on a bee pallet and stack them how high, you know what I mean? And then just roll them around.
If you're doing it at the house where you got some electricity, find yourself be like Bill there, find yourself a refrigeration unit.
I'm not ready for that. That would be super cool to have a small reefer that you could plug in and you
might find yourself a truck reefer.
Just,
a straight, a 20-foot straight truck reefer.
Yep.
Oh,
there's JW. He keeps all his extracted supers in a 40-foot container. I'm curious, JW, do you throw Paramoth or something similar to that on them, or what do you do? Because there was a little bit of brood in some of these, and I don't want to take a chance. No, I'm just looking at options a little bit right now. And I think a 20-foot sea container weighs about 5,000 pounds. I could even, I could even almost deal with that. You know what I mean? On a big trailer, on my big trailer, I should say. I have a 20-foot flat deck on it, so if I needed to move it or something like that. There's JW.
Yeah.
Do you put paramoth on them, or what do you put on them in that sea container?
Yeah, moss crystals.
Is it?
I
Okay.
stack them. I can stack them on one of those containers. You can stack the deeps about 8, and you can stack mediums about 11 or 12 deep. I put just a paper plate in there and put paramoth in them. I put it every 3. Make sure they're good and cleaned out, or I let on my or on my extracted comb, I set the boxes out and let the bees clean them out. You're going to lose some. Granted, you're going to lose a little comb, but it won't be enough to make any difference. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I've done that. I'm scared of putting them away wet, so I've been letting the bees take them back.
Yeah.
When you do that, JW, are you putting them on like a 4-way pallet or any kind of pallet, or are you just stacking them on the floor?
I just put a top cover,
Okay.
a telescoping cover or something on the ground. You want something tight, and I use a lot of bubble wrap.
Oh, like the stretch packing wrap, like you
Right,
can stretch
use
it and wrap them
yeah,
like that.
Yeah, I don't wrap them. I just put that on the bottom, something to kind of help seal it.
He's putting an Ian foamy on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
that's what I do. I've done it for years, and I've never lost a hive, to wax moth.
Okay. Every three
Every
super
3 boxes, whether it's deeps or mediums. Most of them's mediums, of course, but I have some deeps that I save for honey too.
Okay.
And every 3 boxes, I put the moss crystals.
Yep. That's what I did last year. I'm just tired of carrying them in and out of my basement, and I think
you can store a lot of, even if you talk about a 20. If I was going to get one for bee equipment, I would suggest you can buy a 40 just as cheap as you can buy. Sometimes cheaper. You can buy the 40s cheaper than the. And I'm a firm believer in getting those once used ones. Where it's not all beat up.
Yep.
Remember your saying, Will. Buy once, try once.
Oh no, without a doubt, I'm going to get a nice one. One of my other bee buddies just picked up. Now it's not big enough for what I'm talking about. He picked up a 10-footer that even had a man door and a window in it with bars on it and stuff. They make like a little cabin or a little office out of them. But I think JW, I know. You think you get something that's big enough, and then all of a sudden you're wishing you had a 40-foot sea container. I get it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 40-footer, do those folks deliver that kind of stuff with a slide off?
Yeah. Well.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I haul my own. I've got a 30-foot gooseneck. I can with a drop deck on it, so I can get them on. I can get a 40-footer on my 30-foot gooseneck.
I was looking. It looks like a 20-footer is about 4,000, 5,000 pounds. Do you double that for a 40 basically? So it's around 10 probably.
Now I'm not trying to be argumentative. I don't think they're quite that heavy, but
Oh, aren't they? Okay.
You're probably right. I'm not going to say I've never actually weighed them, but I've got that's my main use for storage around. I used to keep feed in them. They do have air vents on them on each corner.
Okay.
Where they're 40s or 20s, and they're covered, and a bee can't go through them. They're that small. But if you won't have to worry about getting bees inside them, if you put paramoth in there, I just leave some of it set out in the open, and you can ask Tom Sossman when he comes out to visit me. He hates the smell of moss crystals, and he won't hardly come near that building.
Yeah.
Now, are you putting in brood comb in there, Will, or are you going to put in just
mostly not? I mean, most of it's only had honey in it, but randomly. I mean, I probably had, out of 200 supers, I bet I got, I don't think I have 10 that a queen got loose in, but I have half a dozen anyway, and I'm just trying to be real safe because, man, I'm paying the wax tariff to get all this stuff drawn, and
Oh yeah.
I wanna protect what I got. You know what I mean?
Whether you would use Sertan or
Have you got that many?
Yeah, that's what
searches?
you use. You spray them, don't you, Charlie?
I don't spray them.
Oh, you don't?
Everything goes in the freezer.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Well, that's, it depends on how many you got. If you got 20 hives, you can do that. If you got 200, it's hard to freeze everything.
Yeah, you can't freeze everything now.
Yep.
But
I've seen Charlie's freezers. You could put bodies in them.
I
For
bet
sure.
you.
yeah, but some they only hold somewhere around, I don't know, 15 boxes or so. If you think about it.
Only 15 boxes.
If he's going to go that route, build you a walk-in cooler. You can get them down to freezing too.
Well, I think you can get sea containers that have the reefer built on them, can't you?
Yep.
Now, I hate to think about what they cost, but
A little bit more money.
and
Well,
they're probably
you can buy
insulated.
those used reefers, for these truck salvage places, and then build your own if you're handy in that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about these freezers? Are they componentized? Or are they a unit that you buy that you build around? Like a regular walk-in. Well, Bill's got one down at his place. It's a walk-in freezer, refrigerator, whatever it is.
Yep.
When I did a lot of butchering my own beef and stuff, I just built my own walk-in. You can insulate it and put get you a diesel reefer unit and hook it in there and
Yep.
it'll run. You can run for
So you can get a 40-foot container, used storage container, from O'Neill Container for $1,500.
Really? Wow, that's cheap.
Where's that at?
Evon Containers is $1,762 for a 20-footer. O'Neill Containers is located in. Hang on a second, I can tell you. Let me go to their website.
I've got a local independent mill that I get all mine off of here. I don't go through any of those. Most of those guys that advertise those 1,500, I've found once you get there, they're beat up junk, and the floors those are all got good wooden floors in them, especially you want to ask for the once used ones,
Yeah. And they got another one that's a once used for $3,500. And then they have a high cube, which is 9'6" for $3,500. It's once used.
And that's what you're going to get into. Them ones just advertising them $1,500, $1,700 ones. They're junk.
They're junk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have. So what you're saying is I'll probably have about $3,000, but I'll have something pretty nice.
Yeah, you can get, if you look around, you get a good reputable dealer. You can get a, and the 40 or the 20 or the 40 is going to be about the same price. You're not going to save. It's not going to be half price for a 20 over a 40. I can tell you.
Yeah.
Yep. Now you can get them. There's a place in Baltimore, Connex Depot. There's a place in New Holland, Pennsylvania, that you can buy containers from.
Yeah, New Holland's not bad for me.
There's another one in Maryland. Let's see.
Yeah, because they're right next to the seaport.
Yeah.
Yep.
JW, would you wish that you had one that was refrigerated, or because you have your other cooler, you're in good shape?
I don't have any need for a refrigerator one myself, but that's just my way of doing it.
I was just curious if that was one of them things you kick yourself about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm pretty much a do-it-yourself type of person, believe it or not. Still, I spent the day-to-day building. I keep all my individual hives on stands. Yes, but I spent all day today building hive stands. I built about all my own, you know, everything but my boxes. I've got an Amish supplier that makes good boxes, and I use him for my, hive boxes, and everything else I make myself.
So you're on bottom boards?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. Screened and solids. I use
Okay.
about half and half. Can't tell a big difference in them myself in my area. But don't go by what I say. I'm just telling you what I do.
Yeah, no, that's
I'm not saying I've got the answers because I don't claim to.
Yeah, the reefer units are going to be hard to get that are working.
yeah.
I just looked at a couple of websites. There's 10 or 12 of them listed, and none of the reefers are working. So you're going to have to get it fixed.
Yeah. No, I think I'm just looking to put it where I want to put it, a 20-footer. Actually, I could see 2 of them there. You know what I mean? But to start with 1 20-footer, I could get all my honey supers in it and probably a fair amount of my nukes and, just for general storage.
Yeah, it takes a little work, but Nathan, his last name doesn't come to. They're in that.
Oh, you mean Duck River Honey?
Yeah, Duck River. Yeah, he made his honey house and everything out of one of them. But you'll have to put an air conditioner in one and insulate the walls if you're going to use them like that, because they do get hot in the summertime.
Do they?
If you got them out in full sun, I've got a couple of them in shade, but full sun.
Yeah, he got pretty exotic. I mean, he put a lot of work into that with that insulation. I think I saw a couple of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do that. It just takes a lot of work,
Yeah.
Put your stringers in there to put your, and insulate them and put an inner wall, but they work. I've got a friend that's got one for a hunting deal that's what they done, for a hunting cabin. They got some properties out where they go and hunt, away from home. So that's what they use.
Well, and the nice thing is that, like you were saying, JW, you got a trailer you can throw them up on, and you could actually move them if you wanted to.
Yeah, you can. They're not heavy enough. If you got a bigger tractor of any kind, you got access to a bigger tractor. You can hook. They've got good solid bottoms on them. You can hook a tractor to them. And I would suggest that you put them either put them on concrete or make you put you some road pack or something underneath them. I will tell you that.
Gravel, or do you think you should set it up on 6x6s or railroad ties or something?
That would be immaterial. I use what I actually use is how do I explain it? It's clean outs out of ready mix trucks is what it is. After it dries, there's enough cement in that stuff. Once you get it in there and get it packed, first time if it gets wet, it'll get just like concrete. I used it around all my cattle feeders and stuff.
So drainage is what you're saying, though. You want it up that it's not sitting wet.
Yes.
Yep.
Build it up a little bit where it's not sitting in the moisture.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got all them there shed builders up here away there, Will. I mean, shoot, you could buy yourself a shed.
Oh yeah, I mean that's if I were making a honey house, I think I'd be stick building something. But for flat out storage, I could put a pump jack in there, a pallet jack in there. I could set them in with a skid steer and just wheel that stuff up and stack it up in there. And I'd lose a little bit of height out of it with, putting it on a pallet, but man, that would make it move so easy.
Well, get yourself a 9-footer instead of an 8.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's like I built that 40 by 24 building out here. Well, I wish I could build it twice that size.
Well, you could build 100, or you could build a 200 by 1,000, I think, and fill it up. Or I could.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind I could fill it up.
No doubt. Yep. No doubt. That's for sure.
I mean, it's just like the hay barn out here. It's 80 feet long. And we could use something 60 feet wide and 200 feet long.
Yep.
I've got two 40 by 80s, Charlie, and they're full of, and I'm not even doing hay much anymore. I still got full of equipment and everything else, trailers and equipment, and my high lift.
Yeah.
You could fill them up. I guarantee that, fellas. But that's I'm just telling you.
You're always
I like those containers. They do a good job for
Yeah.
me, and I've had good luck with them. And I'm in the, I'm in the Midwest when we have some winter weather and we have some hot summer weather. So I've had good luck with them, and I have good luck with keeping my supers. For
Yep.
the next. I say that I go out there tomorrow and I'll have hive beetles.
Yeah,
Now, I will
knock
say
on
on those
wood.
moss crystals, you will have to replace them. In the summertime, you put them in there like this time of year, you'll go
Mhm.
through. You fill a plate of them. You want to check them about first, especially when you first put them in there.
Yep.
You want to check them about every 3 weeks or so because they'll evaporate.
Yeah, the cards. I cut a bunch of cardboard cards last year, and I noticed. I mean, they disappear to nothing for sure. There's nothing left.
That's right.
And don't use the styrofoam plates either. It'll eat that styrofoam up. You want
Yeah.
paper.
He'll eat right through them.
Yeah, they eat right through that styrofoam. Michael, you just have to hang out with your old buddy Tom down there. He's the young one from our area that I know that's going that way.
Oh, the Georgia show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going this year. I might go next year.
They say they have a decent deal. It's in Gainesville. I've got family that lives there, but I'm not going.
Well, JW, you'll have to go next year.
Those get a little. I go to Illinois. I go to Tom and Melissa. It's not Tom and Melissa. It's Eastern Missouri. They put on a nice little old 1 day. Yeah, it's a 2 day deal, but turns out to be a 2 day. But the actual speakers are only 1 day. They do a nice job. I go to Nobby. Have since they started. So I'm located in southeastern Illinois, Melee. Hey, Lee.
What's your weather been like out there, JW? You getting any rain or not?
No, we're dry. I mean, we're
Yeah.
on the verge of being dry. I'm real concerned about her. I'm getting quite a bit. I don't know how. I've been treating my hives with Apigard, so I try not to. I figure that's enough stress on them. I try to stay out of the hives once during my treatment period. Not to go in any more than I have to. And I.
So,
we're dry.
Bill, did you get that machine set up?
No, I didn't yet. She's been sick, and I've been running around treating bees, and I'm wrapping up JW. I'm wrapping up my Apigard too right now. So
Yeah, I'm on my last treatment. I'll be done another week, or I'll be pulling cards another week. I'll start feeding heavy.
Bill, what did you say? How long's that last in the comb? Was it 7 to 10?
What on?
Yeah.
You talk about the crystals?
No,
The
the
Apigard.
Apigard.
Oh,
7 to 10 days after you take it out, it's still in the comb.
Okay.
yeah, I'd say so.
That's how it gets the ones under the cappings. They come out and walk on it and gets them then.
Yeah.
I try to follow protocol, but some of them cards, they'll be dry in 3 or 4 days. And I use full doses.
Yep. And they'll be peeling the
Plastic off of it.
Yep.
plastic off of them.
The strong ones tear them up quick.
Yeah, they do.
Yep.
At least I didn't find any of the cards laying on the ground in front of the hive this year.
Yeah.
that still had Apogard on them. That's what I found on 3 hives last year, JW. They pulled them out, pulled them down between the frames, and right at the front door.
On the first treatment, first 50 grams I put on, I had one last year that the bees completely, I've got a picture of it someplace, maybe completely propolized it in about a week. I mean, they had it covered solid brown with propolis all the way around it. And I had one this year that did that. It wasn't the same hive either year either. Or the same bees. But
JW, my understanding is you want to get 100 grams of Apogard in them inside of 30 days, or right about 30 days. Have you ever put more than that on?
well, yeah. I don't recommend it, but I have, yes. Don't get carried away with it. I'm telling you, you can kill queens. You can kill queens with it. I have killed queens with it. I would suggest everyone on Apogard or with either one. I've used both. Strictly follow the protocol, because you're just asking for headaches if you don't.
I had a yard that about 10 days after the third treatment that I put on them, my inspector was out and we were doing some pretty aggressive alcohol washes. Mm-hmm. A new way that I hadn't realized.
Yeah, I seen you talking about it the other.
Oh, did you? Okay. And I didn't want to change up and put a different chemical in right now, or wait 30 days for it to go away. So I put another 50 grams of Apogard on them. Well, now it's been 7, it's probably been 7 to 10 days since I'll
put on 3 and 4 with, I never have went over on the formic, but I've treated with Apogard. If I go in and test and I've still got a pretty strong mite count, I'll go a third time, a third 50 grams, or I have gone on a couple of really bad situation. I have gone 4 times.
Okay.
But I wouldn't go over the 50 each time, if you understand what I'm saying. I wouldn't double up the catch up. I would go another time.
Yeah. Well, I put this 50 on and I want to let them go for, here 2 weeks and see what I got. Do some more testing.
If this is your first go around with it, if you can go in there in 3 or 4 days, if you just put it on, you'll find some of the cards already gone, but that don't mean it's out of the hive. That just means they've tracked it off the cards.
Yeah, but it's still in the hive as far as that goes. They got it tracked all over the place.
I'll even leave those empty cards on there if it's the first treatment for 2 weeks. May use the card again, or if the card's in bad shape, I'll put on a new one.
Okay, it seemed like a mix. Some of them they beat the card up that it was down to like the cellophane, and others the cards were in pretty decent shape, so I reused them. But it seems like it's my first time with it, but boy, it seems pretty easy to squirt that stuff on a card and toss it in there.
Yeah, it is. It's simple. I love using Apogard.
I try to vary my treatments. I still get knocked down. I don't use it over every other year. I still get good knockdown with Apogard too.
Do you?
But I've tried to mix it up. I use formic. I use Apogard. I use oxalic acid, of course. That's my go-to easy way.
Well, that's usually my what I'm comfortable with is the oxalic acid vaporization, but I just didn't want to mix in another chemical. I figured just keep hitting them with the Apogard with the thiamol, and hopefully it cleans them up.
Formic is, it's all natural too. So
yep.
I'm leaning away from the amatraz and stuff. I don't know, but even some of the bigger boys, if you talk to them about the Apogard, they'll use more than maybe 2 treatments.
Oh, will they? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Bob does some. Bob Benny.
I'll be curious if that cleans them up. You know what I mean? If it kind of,
You'd be surprised. You'll have good luck with it. You'll like it.
yeah,
But follow the protocol.
yeah. Well, it was hot when I started on a bunch of them. I actually started with a 30 and then I did two 35s. You know what I mean? And then, like I say, that's what I did at this apiary here where I found where we found the mites. So I just put 50 on them because I'm mid 70s during the day, maybe high 70s, but I think I'm past that real hot temperatures. So
Yeah, you get by. I I don't like to disturb the bees anymore than I have to when you put them under stress. Any of these treatments puts them under stress.
yeah,
Reason I'll wait for a week for the weather to get right in order to put on a full dose. If you understand, it's where you only have to go in there once instead of 2 or 3 or 4 times. Now that's
yeah,
just my opinion. I'm not saying
yep.
I'm not. I just the way I do it. I didn't mean to make you guys mad and make you quit talking.
Oh, you're
No,
fine.
not at all.
You're fine.
Hey,
Well,
I
far as
appreciate the insight between the the storage containers and then talking about,
That's
when
the
you
reason I come on is I didn't intend to come on. You was talking the storage container. I thought I could come on for a few minutes and tell you
But
what
yeah,
I've done because I've used them for years and I love them.
okay.
but see,
No,
JW, you know what I call that? I call it respecting my elders.
Well, I was going to say something. I was going to put on a smart. You know how I am. I'm always putting some smart aleck thing on the chat. But I was going to tell when you talk about your bad back and stuff. I was going to ask you older guys want me to come down there and do your lifting for you.
JW, I would be real careful because they probably would want you to come do the heavy lifting for it.
Yep.
I don't think they're gonna complain
I
any
am
way they can
not
get
gonna.
it.
I'm not turning help down right now. Let me put it that way.
There
well,
you
as
go,
far as
Todd.
that regard for me, I'm done that, and well, I've been done that for a while,
Yep.
and I put Saturday or Sunday when it got cool. We've got a 5-day window here of 75-degree days during the day, the highs, and so I dropped Format Pro on everything. So we'll see what happens.
Well, between the Apiary Garden and a Formic, you ought to have some awful clean bees there, Charlie.
Well, you know,
That's what you're looking for.
that's what I'm looking
Yep.
for.
My format goes on in. Let me get my calendar up here. My format goes on in 2 weeks.
2 pads for everybody.
You got it.
Yeah, that's what I did with mine. I put 2 pads for everybody except for the nukes.
Goes on the 21st. The highest temperature that I've got for 2 weeks is 78 degrees.
What is it down there now? Is it 75?
It was high today. It got up to 73 today, and we were down in the 30s last night.
We haven't
Down
gotten
in
down
the
to
30s.
30s.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it got into the high 50s last night. It's 54 right now.
I'm 58 here right now.
Yeah, I'm down to 52.
We're supposed to back warm up and have a couple 90 degrees middle of next week, middle of this or end of this week, I guess. This is my bid.
Well, I got a 5-day window of 75, 70, maybe 79 degrees.
Yeah,
Perfect
that's
weather,
what it's been here, and then we got a little warmer.
perfect weather for Format Pro.
Yeah.
And after 5 days, the major flash of that product will be over with, and the following week won't be so bad. Mealy's down in North Carolina.
Yeah, Clay was down in the 40s last night. It got pretty chilly here last night because the heat kicked on last night and
Right.
ran most of the night.
Yeah, but you like it hot.
Yeah, but the thermostat for the heat was set at 70.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
But now out in Western Maryland, the weather person showed it was, I think, in the 40s out there.
yep. Yeah, they're saying 42 here tonight.
So that'll be on for a couple weeks, and after that, I'll start feeding.
Yeah, we've got feeders on now. We were in the bees this weekend feeding. They're taking it right on down. They got full supers of honey underneath of it, and they're taking it on down.
Yeah, like I said, I think I got 5, maybe I think it's 5 or 6 hives out there I'm feeding.
Yeah, Michael, I would bring a jacket.
Oh, something I was going to mention too. You talked about conferences, Georgia and stuff. Them boys up there in Wisconsin. I didn't go last year, but everyone that was there said they really put on a nice little old conference too up there in southern Wisconsin.
It was up there in the middle of the wintertime, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's colder than witch's tit up there.
Yeah.
Well, pardon my language, kids. Family friendly, but it gets cold. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets cold up there.
I don't mind cold. I don't like snow and ice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all the long range forecasts. They were all the Midwest and the Northeast and stuff. Say we're going to get a winter. We'll see. We haven't had one for a year. It'd be hard on us for several years. We haven't had one here.
He's going up to Smith Mountain Lake, and that there brown Roanoke there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. He's about what, 3 hours from you?
Yep.
JW, what do you do for winter out there when you're
Put
calling?
on long handles.
Put on what? Long handles.
Long hands, long underwear.
No, nothing special. I never insulate. I use candy boards with insulation above them. I do that, and then usually after about Christmas time. January and February is my two in this area.
He's like a groundhog. He just goes down under the ground, hibernates.
Yeah. But that's all I do. I don't put on any special.
But you do put a candy board on them and a little bit of insulation.
Yeah, I make my own candy boards. Yeah, and I use an inch of high density, and I make my own boards.
How much sugar do you put on a board?
3 pounds.
Okay.
Now
I say that something. My 10 frame, I put 4 pounds. I got most of my stuff's 8 frame.
Okay.
My 8 frame, I put 3 pounds of candy boards. Some of them have cleaned up, and some of them will go all winter, and they don't even hardly touch them. Don't ask me why, but that's the difference in hives. Same thing.
Now, are you using dry sugar and packing it in there in shims, or are you actually boiling it?
No, I don't boil it. I pack it in there. I wet it and pack it in there, and it'll dry and get, you've probably made them. They'll get hard.
I did that boiling thing one time. That was enough of that.
No, not me either.
I'm making my own boards too, JW, and I have an inch of insulation, like hard styrofoam insulation in there.
Yep.
And I put a foil side down so they don't chew up through it.
Yep.
And then now my candy boards are, I don't know, they're probably you put the inch of insulation in there, and then there's probably 2 inches of sugar. My deeps my 10 frames end up with almost 15 pounds of sugar. And that's all I do is I'll use, if I got some syrup laying around, I'll put 2 cups of syrup into, about 15 pounds of sugar, and I'll mix that up and put it in there.
And you're going to do that for 200 hives?
I got about 100 of them put together, and I talked to a little Amish guy up here. I'm going to have him make me the 3.5-inch thick rims, or whatever you want to call it, rims or shims or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I can just I'm going to put a plywood, I put a plywood top on it, and I'm going to dip it. And then I'm going to put the insulation in it and put the sugar on top of it. And then I actually put 1/2-inch hardware cloth on it, so if it breaks up, it don't fall down on top of the frame.
Yeah, I do. You put it all the way. I use a gap. I put my hardware cloth up a 3/4 of an inch. I make 2-inch shims. Got an inch insulation in the hardware cloth, and then that leaves me about a 3/4 of an inch below the hardware cloth.
Yeah, I have the hardware cloth on, and then I put a 3/8-inch rim around it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 3/8 of an inch up off of the it's probably 1/2 inch up off the bars of the hive. You know what I mean?
That's my men are coming there, boys. I just do whatever Joy says.
There you
Hey,
go.
Mr.
Whatever
Joey.
Joey's doing, I'm good.
What y'all doing?
Oh, just a chatting away.
Cleaning up dead outs. You need any help? I'm
No.
a professional dead out cleaner upper.
I hadn't looked at no beehive today. We just got through with our Marion County beekeeping. I just jumped on here real quick to say hey to y'all. Might be a little too noisy. I got a couple of people here I want to show y'all. Here's one of them. Y'all see him on every one of our chats.
Yeah, that's my good old Southern
Russell Amon.
Yeah, hey, you doing, Russell?
Look
What's
over here.
tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Tonight? Monday night?
Yeah.
Oh,
World famous Mike Berry.
bees all day.
Yeah.
Bees all day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bees all day.
I don't even know what night it is.
Oh, there's Mike Berry. Yep.
We had to take care of him.
Russell, you're strutting and talking. What are you doing having the bee meeting on Monday night? I thought that was Thursday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
I got one more to show you, and I'm gonna let y'all get back. He's on all our lives too. He just don't come on much.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm gonna start joining in.
This is Jeffrey Thomas, Anna Bees.
Anna Bees Honey.
Yeah, Anna Bees Honey. He's come on mine a couple of times.
Attaboy,
Very
attaboy.
nice.
You got to tell him to come on the rest of them, Joey.
I listen to y'all's a lot too.
Yeah, he's always on there.
All right.
Joey, what are you doing meeting on Monday nights? I thought your meetings was Thursdays.
Well, our parish meeting is on Thursday. We're in Marion County, Mississippi, Columbia.
Oh, you're over on the clean side.
Yeah, yeah.
We're sitting on the big toe of Louisiana.
Yeah. I got you. You're up there in Russell's country.
You know where Columbia. They have Monday nights.
Yeah.
I'm down here in dirt rooster country.
Yeah.
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 We're sucking up the dirt with you. What about this green honey you got?
Okay. All right, I'm gonna leave y'all alone now. I just wanted to bring them on. Let
Good to see
introduce
y'all.
them to y'all.
Well, thank you, Joey.
Tell
Thank
Southern
you.
Russell I said, hey, Joey.
Yeah. All right, I will. But this is the reason on second Monday. This is what I'm always doing. Second Monday of the
Okay.
month, we come to this meeting, and it just adjourned.
You're local.
We'll see y'all later.
All right. Good night.
Yep.
See you later, Joey.
All righty.
So I called the same little Amish guy you called, Will.
Oh, did you?
Yep. And he's going to build me the 3.5-inch framework in the
Oh,
lid.
okay. I was getting 100 from him.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm not going to get quite that many.
You don't need quite that many yet.
No, but I'm going to do
But
it.
it makes sense. It makes sense if I'm getting 100 of them. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You can piggyback on that.
Yeah, I'm doing it for the bee club.
Okay, that's right.
So
What's
like
that?
we talked about.
Eating chims or
Yep.
candy
Yeah,
bars?
but I'm going to do them like Will does them, except I'm going to make them easier for
And
them
pull
to
them apart.
reuse them in the
Yeah,
future.
you can pull yours apart. What you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, now you're talking about, Will, about putting that 1/2 inch hardware cloth. You're just laying it on there, right? So you can refill next year.
Nope. I use that rim and I nail that thing down hard. Now I that that rim helps keep that hardware cloth in place. And then Charlie, they eat out what they eat out. And I make that snowball snow, and I just take a putty knife and I just pack her back full again and throw it on again.
Yeah.
Pack her
Yep.
on, let it dry, and put it on again.
Yep.
I don't really have.
It'll keep from year to
I don't.
year.
Yeah, I don't need to dig it out. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't need to replace it. I can just keep adding to it.
Well, I'm looking at is your press. Aren't you rolling it with a dough roller?
Nope. I mix it in a bucket to like snowball consistency, and then I just pack it in there with like a big wide 6-inch putty knife.
Yep.
I just keep pouring it on and troweling it in, and I don't get crazy pushing it in there tight because I want that.
That sounds about the way I like I make sugar
Yeah.
bricks or put it in a sheet cake, score it, leave it there put it in my hot box down there for a couple of days, and then it's nice and dried out, and take your darn pie scraper and pop it right out of there.
Yep. I'll let the thing sit out for a little bit. Usually the time of year I'm doing it, it doesn't get robbed. I'll let it sit out and get dew on it a couple nights, and then I'll bring it in the garage, let her dry up really good, and it's fairly solid at that point.
Yep.
But it's porous enough it'll suck up any extra moisture in there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do basically the same thing, Will. I'll put the 1/2 inch, and that 1/2 inch will also help hold that sugar kind of, if it's a little bit runny when you mix it.
Yeah, it keeps it in place that in place pretty good. So.
Well, I found out I cut me a piece of I had some 3/4 inch insulation, some cardboard insulation, 3/4 inch thick, and I cut one the size of to put underneath it to pack the sugar on top of.
Okay,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? And then just pop it out every time and you use it over and over, and it makes it go a lot faster. What I did, Charlie, you talk about compacting it. I took me an old hoe handle that was broke and cut off about 1 foot of it and made me a handle and screwed it, made me a compressing little.
Yeah. Yep.
There you go.
Deck, and you just pop it down in there real easy without you getting that stuff sugar all over your hands.
Yep. When I'm doing that, my hands get so smooth and soft. There's something between the sugar and the.
Yeah.
But here, I'll light the chat on fire. Do you put any Clorox or any vinegar in your mix when you're mixing it to put in there, JW?
I use a little bleach or a little regular vinegar,
Yeah, put some. Yeah, I mean,
I do it.
Put about. Well, I mixed it up in a 5-gallon bucket with my.
That's what I do too.
Drywall mixer, with my big gear drill, and then put about a tablespoon or so of vinegar in there.
Yep, that's what I'll put a tablespoon of bleach in there and mix it all up, and it smells.
The thing of it is, it goes
crazy.
back to that acid thing where bees like a little more acidotic.
Yep.
In their sugar, they'll eat it better.
Yeah, it inverts it.
I see. I never. You say invert, and I'm like, okay, what do you mean? It's like
turn it upside down. What invert means to me, Charlie.
That's what I do with my candy board. I invert it on the top of the hot.
There you go. Yep. You're inverting the sugar that way.
Well, as far like DC about fermenting, I mean, I don't think crystal or granulated sugar is going to ferment.
No, I don't think it will either.
And it sucks up the extra moisture.
But it will mold.
A good friend out there at Sandy Valley made a bunch of fondant last winter. I made some. Mine didn't turn out as as nice as his did, but I made
Yeah, his seemed like they said the bees really liked his stuff.
yeah, I made some of it, but
I bought some 50-pound block of it, and that's a sticky, messy
yeah,
stuff to
yeah.
try to cut and
Yep.
everything else. I despise it. I won't even fool with it.
You got to
What's that,
get it just
Fonda?
right, or it'll get runny in the hive on you too. So it's hard to get it.
If it gets dried out, then the bees won't take it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I
And
don't
that's
know.
better
Like I
down
say,
pretty
I
good.
make my sugar water up, let them have it, and I fill them. I make to the point where they won't take no more, and they got plenty of honey all the way to springtime. And
You
most
put an
cases-
upper entrance on them, JW, or not?
Sir,
You put an upper entrance. Do you give them an upper entrance when you do your candy board?
seldom do.
Okay.
Seldom do. And I don't have very big openings on any of my hives. I use metal
Those mouse guards.
yep. So I use all metal reducers on my hives.
I'm
And
experimenting with using all.
they're all 3/8 pretty much too. I don't want anything any. I'm just telling you my opinion. I mean my way I do it. I'm not saying that's the right way to do it. I just what I like best is 3/8 openings. I don't like 3/4 openings at all. Period.
Well, this is interesting because I'm flipping the stuff I have on bottom boards. Probably 90% of them I have flipped over to the 3/8 inch side. I like that too. And then my pallets, I think 98% of my pallets, I'm running all the 3/8 inch openings on them, and they're cut down about 5 inches. So you probably got, you got a little less than half the opening left in 3/8. And so far I like that pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't use any pallets because I don't do any moving per se. I've got right now I've got 4 different yards, but I don't tend to do any pollinations or anything like that. I've got a nephew out in Oklahoma. He runs about 200 hives, and he's got them all on. He buys old trailers,
Yep.
mobile home trailers, the frames,
Yep.
and
Yep.
put deal on it. And he does a lot. It's all local. He does like he won't go over kind of like 100-mile. And he does a lot of pollination. He's got all of his beehives on trailers. I think he's got 7 or 8 trailers, and he's got about 200 hives on them.
Well, that gets pretty heavy, doesn't it?
He pulls around with a pickup truck.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Woof.
Wow.
Because you could put a pile of hives on a freaking mobile home trailer.
Yeah. That's what he's got. He's got some 40, 50 footers. That's what he does. He'll pull them up and then move them around.
Wow. That's pretty neat. I've seen that on a smaller scale. I've never seen it, on a mobile home trailer. Does he have a platform in the middle? He works them off the middle then, or does he just walk right up to them?
He makes the bottom's all solid. On the trailer, he'll take old plywood. He gets old plywood someplace and puts floors on those trailers.
Okay, and then sets them right on it, straps them down.
Because most of those trailers got that particle board is what all the flooring is in them. You can't get that stuff wet and just fall apart. Somebody was talking. Was that you talking the other night, Charlie, about when we was talking about one of the chats was on the bottom boards being in pieces?
Yeah, that was one of the guys
on Friday night.
Yeah, it's expensive now, fellas, but a suggestion that anybody wants solid bottom boards is that HDO. You can't beat it. I'm telling you, it's just wonderful stuff. Make bottom boards are telescopic covers out of. So you talk about
I made a pile of migratory lids for on them out of HDO.
Yeah, I got an RV there.
There you go, Charlie. We were waiting for that to come up. How many bees could you put on that old RV frame back there?
Old Brian, he's trying to stir a little crap there, Charlie. Don't let him get the best of you now. Tell him if he come out and visit you, let him stay in it.
There
Yeah,
you go.
He actually he's originally from New Jersey.
Yeah. He said that
Guys
one
remember
time he
all
kind of like to come back east. I can't imagine why, but he said that one time by.
Oh, he
You
was
guys
down in
remember all the
Virginia.
school buses they used to put race cars on the back of and go racing?
Oh yeah, pulling
my
trucks
God.
and race cars and
Oh
everything
my
else.
God. Yep. But now we need one set up with beehives on it.
We still got that in some of the rednecks in our country that does these demolition derbies.
Oh yeah.
And they're pretty famous for doing that kind of crap. Boys, I didn't mean to hijack your.
That's fine.
No,
You
I'm
didn't,
glad
you
you
didn't
came on.
hijack anything.
I just come on.
Yeah. Always
We
looking
talked
for
about all kinds of good stuff, JW, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
It's, I don't, like I said, I don't do any pallets, so I don't have any. I mean, I've been around a lot of pallets over the years, but I don't do any myself. I use all individual stands. I don't even put them on, on setups like Charlie's got there. Mine's like Bill's, only I build my own. Is yours wood, Bill? All yours? Do you get
Not
somebody?
all of them. No, I've got a nail hives and I've got wooden hives.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm gonna be honest with you, and I probably even shouldn't even say that. I had some Apamays, and they just didn't satisfy my needs. I went back to all wood.
I can understand that. It's not for everybody. I get it.
Yeah.
well, it's like Will had a few Apamays. They don't fit hive lifters very well, do they, Will?
No, they do not. Oh my God. Woo.
Well, you said hive beetles?
Hive lifters.
Oh, okay.
Will's got a hive lifter like mine.
Okay,
and
I got you. Yeah, that'd be a little problem.
no way of hooking them things at all.
Nope.
If you can't hook them, I don't want them.
Yeah.
I tried to MacGyver that. I ended up putting a little bit of rope on them, trying to tie to the handles. Well, that was a mess.
I just didn't. I couldn't keep the bugs out of my feeders on them when I, fed sugar water.
Yep.
In them, the little top feeders. I didn't have anything against them other than, and they're real hard to. What I didn't like about them, they got them. I never did use the pollen catchers, but they got them.
The thing about their feeders is the feeders are on there all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't want them to be on there all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I was watching Bees in the Weeds here, and he was putting AprilGuard on. Well, they got those sliders on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I read somewhere, I think it was frequently asked questions where Bill brought it up from AprilGuard. You're supposed to take a screwdriver and remove them darn front entrance closures so they can get the air in there. Even though it's wide open, you might slide them all the way open or not. It's not enough air from what I think I read in the paper.
Well, I'm going to contest that statement. I've got several 10 frames, my old 10 frame wooden boxes. I do like the Apamay bottom boards on them, and I don't open them up, Charlie. And I haven't had any losses.
As far as taking them slider things off?
Yeah, I don't. They'll slide. You can get if you slide them clear open, I'm going to say you can get maybe 7, maybe 8 inches of ventilation. But I never do open them up over about an inch on each side. About 2 inches is all I ever leave on them. I have, even with the full dose AprilGuard, I have not had any problems. I will say that. So
yeah.
But the thing about it is, them bees, sometimes you can't move them when you want to, because you got bees on the landing board, and they'll propolize those little sliders you're talking about. They propolize them where you can't hardly. You about have to break them apart to get them to move without breaking the
I
plastic.
had a license 6-frame nuke, and it had that slider on her, that plastic thing. Like you said, they get stuck.
Yeah.
You take your hive tool and jam it across. And I got to the point in the summertime, I just pulled the darn thing out and threw it in my pickup truck until the winter time.
Yeah. You could do
And then
that.
I would put it back in for mouse guard. And then last year I got lazy. You know, I had a 4-inch entrance reducer where it was no more, well, 4 inches wide, but 3/8 of an inch tall. Supposedly mice don't get in there, and I don't see, well, I've had any mice problems, so I just left it like that.
I don't even on my screen bottom boards with the ApiGuard, I don't even with that chloroform board, I don't even open it completely up. About half is the most I ever do. I've got one hive right now that's on the second dosage. It's a single deep. That's bearding a little bit. I'm gonna have to give them a little more space in the morning. I don't know. Put on a bigger spacer or something. Like they're bearding a little bit too much to suit me. That's the only. The rest of them, I haven't had any bearding either treatment on.
Yeah, I put Formic on yesterday, and I seen the one hive at the end kind of bearded out some, but other than that, all of them, I had no problems.
Well, everybody, it's almost 10 o'clock. I know everybody's got to get up and go to work in the morning. I appreciate you coming out.
I don't. I'm sorry. I don't, Bill.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought, JW.
I'm good at that.
Yeah. If you enjoyed the chat tonight, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And it lets us all hang around a little bit longer. We appreciate you coming out. And Tuesday nights are Nancy the Beekeeper. Friday night is Charlie, Sawmill Charlie. And Thursday night is, no, Joey's on Saturday night, right?
Yeah, Joey's on Saturday. Ricky.
Joey's on Saturday night. Who's on Thursday night?
Rick Rourke, and usually Keith Spillman's on with him. Rick Rourke.
Okay. So there's somebody on a chat every night of the week except for Wednesday right now. And then you got Stream Team on Wednesday night.
The Stream Team's on and hasn't Tom Hayner out there, hadn't he been coming on Wednesdays before the Stream Team saw?
Yeah, he has.
I know Bracken and them guys are coming, I think, on Wednesday nights, I think, for about an hour.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of I call it the Utah crowd.
Yep.
Oh, Barker and Glade and that bunch out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Glade and Bracken and Jed.
Yep. Bracken and Jed.
Gotcha.
So y'all can catch a chat just about every night of the week. So come on back and we'll see you next Monday night, and I'll see you Friday night on Charlie's chat. So y'all have a great week.
Thanks for having me, Bill. Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome, JW. Anytime.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.